Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie and if you are new here, please do subscribe. So today I wanted to talk about my photography journey, so talking about where I started and then kind of the process to get to where I am now. So I'm now a dog photographer, I also do yoga photography, I photograph myself, and I would also love to be kind of a travel, just photography in general basically, but I want to talk about where I started and then how I got to where I am now. So going right the way back, even when I was a child, so there's this funny story. I went on a holiday with my parents. We went on a canal trip. I think I must have been about 12 and I was just not interested in being on the canal, not interested in the surroundings, the nature, things like this. And they had a DSLR camera. Now mind you, this was 18 years ago, so I think it was quite expensive. I walked around the side of the canal taking photographs and fell in the canal, broke their camera and was never allowed to use their cameras again. But so I think I've always had a passion for, or an interest at least, in photography since I was quite young. I didn't really do anything with it until university, and I guess I started by taking cameras out everywhere I went. So obviously back when I was a student 12-ish years ago, 14 years ago even, when I was 18, obviously we didn't have iPhones and we didn't have phones with flashes and good cameras. And I always really wanted to remember the nights, remember places that I went to, so I used to buy little digital cameras and actually got through them like crazy. I had to change them pretty much every 6 months or year just because I would lose them or break them or drop them on nights out or just anything, but I always had a camera with me and I would photograph buildings and I'd photograph friends and things I was doing. I never really did anything with the photographs. It was more just memory's sake, I think, but I was definitely always the person on the night out with a camera. And then throughout university, so I studied textiles at university, I was doing mostly knitting and weaving and then a little bit of print design as well. But in my final year was when I went travelling. Well, so between second and third year, I went travelling to Fiji, Australia, New York, New Zealand, and I took a camera with me when obviously I went away, and I took a lot of underwater photographs in Fiji, which were beautiful as well. I was obsessed with it, I loved it. Took a lot of photographs in Sydney, obviously in New York, and it was kind of, I think it became my hobby. Oh, I missed a section. 1 minute, let's go back. So after college, between college and university, I had to do 1 year foundation course, and I thought I wanted to do textiles because that's what I'd done at college and I enjoyed it. So I'd enrolled onto the textiles course, but I had to do a foundation course first. And during my foundation course, we did painting, drawing, textiles, fashion, photography, sculpture, just lots of everything, so that we could really test out a whole broad spectrum of art categories, I guess. Art, I can't think of the word. Art things, I can't think of the word. And I actually really enjoyed the photography. We got to rent an old kind of film camera. We had to go around and take photographs and actually develop the film ourselves in a dark room and put them in the different liquids, I can't remember the whole process, and put light on it and things. And I remember I actually really loved that process and I really loved the photography, but I kind of thought, well, I don't know anything about photography, so I can't study at university because I've already applied for my textiles degree, that's already what I want to do. Even if I enjoy photography, I'd already kind of had my heart set on doing textiles, and I kind of wish I'd explored. I mean, not that I would go back and change things because I would not be here now if I'd have done anything differently, but I do sometimes kind of wish that I had maybe pushed myself a little bit more with the photography because I really did enjoy it. Anyway, go back to third year of university. So I took the gap year between second and third year. That's when I met Jeremy in Australia, and because he's French and he lived in the south of France and I lived in Manchester, so we would often travel to see each other, and I'd go down to the south of France, he'd come up to Manchester, we'd also meet in Paris and London. That's a story for another time. But when I was down in the south of France visiting him and his family, I was just obsessed with the architecture, and I would photograph all the doors, all the windows, the pipes, the signs, details, anything I could, the nature. I just photographed it all. I remember Jeremy and his family just thinking okay, this girl is crazy, she's literally stopping in the streets to take pictures of doors and windows, but I was just obsessed with it, I loved it. And my photography played a huge part in my textiles degree in my final year because I based my textile work on my photography work that I had been taking photographs of over the past kind of year or so. So I think that's when I realised that I have a huge kind of passion for photography, maybe more than textiles. I was so obsessed with taking photographs, and then I had to turn that into textiles to kind of make it relevant for my degree. So then obviously after third year I moved to France with Jeremy to be with him, and I kind of just got stuck in learning French, earning money, doing whatever I could to kind of get by and pay bills. So I worked in Subway for about 3 years. I worked in a lavender shop for a couple of years, and kind of on the side I would do photography at the weekends and evenings. And I spent so much time on YouTube, on photography courses. I would practice all the time, learn as much as I could. And I knew that one day I'd want to be a photographer, but I knew that at the same time I couldn't really do it there and then, because I had to, like I said, work full time to be able to afford the life that we had, basically, to be able to afford the apartment and the mortgage, food, cars, travel, all this kind of thing. That was the priority at the time. So in 2016 I created Provence Photography, and I thought this was a great name because we were obviously in Provence and people would easily find me on Google searches if they came to Provence, which is an area in the south of France, if they wanted a photographer for their vacation photographs. So in 2016 I created that, and I started kind of doing work on the weekends and on my days off and on the side. So I would photograph friends of friends, family, build up a little bit of a portfolio, and I did a lot of free shoots as well, just to kind of practice photography, because I'd kind of really only learnt the basics. I probably knew 10% of what I know now, probably even less, honestly. Like, I just didn't have a clue, but I knew I wanted to know more. So I pushed and pushed and pushed and did lots of free shoots, lots of different shoots as well. So I photographed families and models and business women, lots of different things, to kind of gain experience and to learn a little bit more about photography, lighting, editing, all that kind of good stuff. So that was from 2016 until the end of 2017, which is when we moved to Miami. So I spent probably 2 years-ish doing jobs here and there, learning as much as I could. Like I said, spending hours on YouTube, spending lots of money on photography courses, trying to, you know, understand the best equipment that I needed to have, spend my money on lenses, and I just knew it was something I wanted to do. So I really did push hard with it for 2 years. And then we moved to Miami. So we moved here December 2017, and I feel like I didn't really get started with photography maybe until January, February, March time. I wasn't quite sure, you know, how to go about it. We just moved to a completely new continent, a new country, a new area, new people. We didn't know anyone here. So we were kind of concerned with settling in, finding friends, finding a bit of a routine, just kind of feeling comfortable where we were. So I think it took me a couple of months before I got my first photography gig. Again, I started with a lot of free stuff just to kind of practice and learn, and the lighting is different here, the editing is different, the scenery is completely different, so everything was different and new, and I really wanted to kind of get lots of shoots under my belt before I started charging. Now, I can't remember the exact first shoot that I charged for. I wish I did. I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more. Do you remember? I don't remember the first shoot I did, but basically over 2018, the whole year, I did I don't know how many shoots, but I did everything. So I did bachelorette parties, I did birthdays, I did families, couples, proposals, babies, pregnancies, models, bloggers. There's an actress that I photographed a few times, just kind of anything and everything I could get my hands on. So I feel like this 1 year of kind of doing anything and everything really confirmed what I already kind of knew, is that I really needed to niche down. I feel like because my Instagram and my website was it was consistent in the editing work and the photographs looked similar, but it was also not at all consistent, because there'd be a baby one day and then a maternity and then an engagement and then a family and then a blogger, then a model, then this and that and this and that, and it changed quite a lot. So I thought, okay, I really need to niche down. What have I enjoyed the most? And I think the thing I enjoyed the most was babies and maternity. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be a maternity, pregnancy, motherhood, baby photographer. I bought a couple of courses. I learned a little bit about posing babies, but I was still kind of nervous about it. But I thought, you know, it's something that I need to learn, at least if I'm niche down and specialised. Because I think the problem was, when you can do everything, people don't particularly book you for anything. And I don't know if that's true with a lot of industries, but I definitely found that with photography, that if you kind of say that you're an everything photographer, people tend to avoid that. They kind of look for a wedding photographer or a maternity photographer or an engagement photographer or a dog photographer, like I'm doing now. Like, people want someone who is specialised in that certain area. So that's why I decided to niche down. And then because we're in Miami and it is boiling hot most of the year, I lost a couple of, I remember in 2018, I lost a couple of maternity jobs because I didn't have a studio. Obviously it's super hot outside. Women who are pregnant are obviously hot and sweaty anyway, let alone being in 90-degree Miami heat and the humidity and everything. So I kind of thought, okay, I'm gonna buy a studio. That way I can do maternity photography, baby photography and couple photography, all within, you know, it's all the same niche, it's all the same people, and really focus in on that. So I think it was early 2018, maybe like January, February, I thought if I'm gonna do it, because we weren't sure how long we could stay in Miami, we thought we'd stay there an extra year, so I thought if I'm gonna do it, I need to do it straight away, buy the equipment and spend as long as possible trying to pursue this and trying to learn about studio photography and make it kind of a career and earn money from it. So I bought the equipment pretty early on, I think probably January, February time, hoping that I would do maternities, couples and babies only. So in February 2018, we decided to start dog boarding with Rover. It's an app where basically people drop off their dog at our house for a day, a week, 6 weeks, whatever it is, and we look after them while they go away on holiday or to see family, whatever it is, we look after dogs. So we started that in February 2018, and I think the first dog that we looked after, I had my studio set up because I just photographed a maternity or a baby or something. I had it set up and I just thought, oh, do you know what, I'll take a couple of photographs of this dog just to kind of give to the owner as like a thank you for choosing us. This is a photograph I took. There was no intention behind it at all. I didn't think this would be my career. I didn't think I would do this full time. I just thought it would be something fun to try it out, to also practice with my studio gear because it was my first time using flashes and lights and the white backdrop and everything all together. So I thought I'll be able to practice, they'll get some nice photographs, there's no harm done. I thought it could be fun. So we photographed the first dog and the photographs looked beautiful and I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Sent them to the owner and they were gobsmacked. They were like, Rosie, these are amazing, how much are they? And I was like, no, it's fine, you can have them. And they were like, no, we want to pay you. And I was like, honestly, it took me like an hour maximum, like taking photographs and then editing as well. I really wasn't doing it, you know, I didn't really take it seriously, it was just a bit of fun. And I was like, no, honestly, it's fine. And then the next dog came and again I photographed that dog, just again for experience, to learn about my lighting, to learn about editing with studio photography. It was more about my learning rather than for the dog and the owners. Again, these owners absolutely loved the photographs and wanted to pay for them, and I was just kind of thought, is this a thing? Like, do people want to have photographs of their dog, professional photographs, taken, edited and then buy them? And then obviously it happened twice out of the 2 dogs that we looked after. So I thought, okay, this must be a thing. Maybe this is something that we can go into because obviously I love spending time with dogs. That was the main reason we did the dog boarding, was just have some company, have some dog cuddles, and it's just something we enjoy. So it kind of went from there. I photographed maybe 3 or 4 dogs that we were looking after via Rover. And then I think I was also putting this in with my Provence photography, like my everything photography, which looked crazy because it was all people and then it suddenly switched to dogs. So I thought, okay, I need to create my own business for dog photography because I think this could actually take off. And now saying that sounded mental. Like, yeah, I think I could be a dog photographer. Like, I'd never thought about it before, but it just seemed to make sense. So I just thought, do you know what, I'll go with it. Why not? We'll see what happens. So I spent a couple of days thinking about names and came up with portraits of Poochies, which was not taken on .com. The Instagram wasn't taken, Facebook, everything. So I thought, okay, I'll have that. I quite enjoyed it. It was quite fun, but it was also very obvious what it was. I think a bit like Provence photography, I think the name is very important to have something that says exactly what you are. I don't think abstract names particularly, I don't know, that's a different conversation. Anyway, I went with portraits of Poochies. I got the Instagram, I got the Facebook, things like this, and the website, and decided to build my website. And I started posting these photographs that I'd taken of the dogs I was looking after on my Instagram. And I reached out to a couple of people and said, hey, you know, it was just people with like 2,000, 5,000. I think one of them had 10,000 followers in Miami. Sent them a message, hey, I'm a new photographer in Miami. I would love to photograph your dog. Would you like to come in for a free shoot? Most of them said yes. I'm pretty sure all of them actually said yes. And I think I photographed around 30 dogs for free. Now, this was for several reasons. I wanted to practice with my light and my flash, practice with my studio photography, practice with my editing. It was also great for me to get more content for my Instagram because obviously no one was going to pay me without me having experience. So I wanted to really build up a good portfolio on my Instagram to then start charging people. I also didn't want to charge people before I knew exactly what I was doing. I wanted to be able to charge something and know that they were going to get really beautiful photographs at the end, and it was going to be worth their money spending with me. So that's something I would advise. If you're not 100% sure, I personally wouldn't charge people. I wanted to know what I was doing and feel confident before I charged. Anyway, but also it was great advertising because they would come in for a free shoot, which cost me nothing. They would get the photographs. I think I gave people 2 or 3, 5 maybe photographs. Well, I gave them the gallery. They would choose their top 3 or 5, I think it was at the time. And they would then post these photographs obviously on their Instagram, be like, oh my god, I got these photographs done by Portraits of Poochies. They were amazing. Go and check them out. And then from there it kind of snowballed, I guess. In May, I think was when I first started charging. I actually went to a dog event also in April, which for me was, I didn't understand, I didn't know what was going on. I got a message from somebody saying, hey, we are, I think it was the Doodles of Miami group, and we're going to have a dog meetup. Do you want to come along? And I was like, I mean, yes, but what does that include? So I ended up sharing a table with another vendor who was taking a table, because I thought I don't have a 6-foot table to take with me. I don't have a tablecloth. I don't have any posters or marketing materials. I had nothing. I literally had an Instagram page and a website. So I thought, do you know what? I'll go along and see what happens, spend a little bit of money. If nothing comes of it, then that's fine. It's just a little bit of money spent, but it was not a big deal. So I shared a table with her. I spent around $100 on things like business cards, a couple of posters. I think I maybe, did I have the mugs and phone cases at the very first one?
We had something.
I think I might have had the frame and maybe one mug and one phone phone case, because I wasn't sure what people would want to see. I'm not sure if people would even like my photography. I wasn't sure if anything would come of it. So anyway, I went along and I offered a free photo shoot, which somebody won, and obviously they came for that as well. But it was a great way to meet people and to get feedback from people. So straight away we had people being like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with your work, I need to book in. I think I got a couple of bookings from that one, so it made that event worthwhile in terms of money. I got, you know, the money that I spent on business cards and posters and accessories, t-shirts, things like that, I got back with the photo shoots that I booked that day. So that was kind of when I realised, okay, this is real, this is gonna happen. And I think that event actually, was it in April or May? May, wasn't it, like May 4th? So it was early May. I think that day was when I got my first paid bookings, and I couldn't believe it. I had to act cool and pretend like it was normal, but inside I was like, holy fucking shit, this is amazing. So I need to change my battery. I'll be back. So I've changed the battery and I'm back. So that event was when I booked my first couple, I think 2 photo shoots, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So from there I spent that money that I earned then on more marketing equipment. So I had 3 phone cases, 3 mugs, 2 prints, my posters, business cards. I got flyers at a later date, t-shirts, bags, things like this. All marketing equipment, basically, materials. So that was May was when I got my first paid booking, May 2019. And I basically spent the whole of last year doing dog photography. I did a couple, maybe, of human photo shoots. I can't even remember them if I did. Not many, but it was mostly dogs that I focused on. So after doing a couple of shoots of the just white background photo shoots, I can't remember if somebody asked me or if I came up with it somehow, but I somehow decided I was going to do birthday shoots for dogs. So a bit like how humans or babies, when they turn 1, they have a cake smash session where they sit in front of a big cream cake with a photographer and smush it everywhere, get it all over their face and have just a party with it. And I thought, oh my god, wouldn't that be amazing to do it for dogs? I have no idea if I saw it somewhere or if I just had the idea or if someone asked. I really can't remember how it started, but I remember as soon as I put it available on Instagram and talked about it, being like, hey, is this anything anyone might be interested in? I remember the same day somebody was interested and booked in for it, and I was like, oh, people actually want to do this as well, this is amazing. So my birthday shoots consist of a cake from a dog baker in the US. They actually ship straight to me, and then obviously I do the photo shoot. So they get a cake stand, a garland on the back, and a letterboard with their own message on there. So this was something new that I added so that it was kind of, you could either have the classic white photos or the birthday photos. So this was good fun. I had 6 different designs, well I still have 6 different designs. So it's kind of 3 more geared towards boys and 3 more geared towards girls, even though you can obviously do what you want, it doesn't matter. I've actually had a girl dog do the cactus, which is more of a boy one, and I've actually had a girl dog do the blue one, so it really doesn't matter. I just have 3 boy-ish, 3 girl-ish, the dogs, it really doesn't matter. So that was amazing last year. That was so much fun, and it actually did really well as well. And then I thought, do you know what, this is quite fun, being able to be creative, be paid, be appreciated, and have fun with it. So I thought, okay, what else could I do that would, I guess, stand out from other photographers in the area and do something a little bit different, and also have some fun for myself, because in all honesty, obviously it's lovely photographing dogs and having them come over and cuddle with them and things, but it does get a little bit tedious when the setup is exactly the same, the camera settings are exactly the same, the presets are exactly the same, everything is just very samey. So in terms of me as a creative person, I felt like I was getting bored, if I'm honest, just because it was just a lot of the same, a lot of dogs on white backgrounds. So I decided to do mini photo shoots, like mini sessions, themed ones, and the first one I did was for fall. So I did a pumpkin session, a pumpkin patch theme. I ordered a pumpkin banner from Amazon. I think it said cutest pumpkin in the patch, and I went to Target and bought 40 pumpkins. There was literally 40 of them, I counted, and I had them all set up, and then I had my clients come in, and some of them had funny outfits, some of them just used a bandana that I bought from Brody's Bandanas, which is the bandana company in Miami, that had pumpkins all over it, and set up this mini kind of styled photo shoot for the dogs. Again, it went down amazingly, everyone loved it, so I thought, okay, I need to do Christmas. I spent maybe $400 on Christmas decorations for my Christmas shoot. So I bought a $200 Christmas tree, and then another $150 on decorations, basically presents, lights, gifts, just accessories. I bought way more than I needed, but I'm glad I did that, because then I had backup in case I wanted to, you know, change the display, things like that. Everything I do buy for these shoots, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I use it and then take it back, because obviously I was doing the pumpkin shoots in September, I want to say, for October, and then the Christmas shoots I was doing in November for December. So obviously if I do it in November and take them back in November, people can still buy the things for December, for their decorations in December. So it's not like I'm taking it back after Christmas so that shops can't even sell them. I made sure everything was still in pristine condition, everything was perfect, I took everything back, got my money back, and they were still able to sell the products afterwards. I don't know if I'm allowed to recommend that or say that I did that, but that's what happened. That did well. So I did Valentine's Day, I did Easter, 4th of July, and now I'm doing a flower shoot, which I'm actually collaborating on with a different vendor in Miami. She's a dog baker, so she makes cakes and biscuits and cookies, things like this. So she's making flower cookies, I'm doing the flower setup, and we're selling that as a photo shoot. So that was a lot of information, probably a lot of useless information. I'm not sure if this was actually helpful or not. But I think a couple of things just to take from this is learn as much as you can whenever you have the chance. So just photograph flowers in the garden, or objects in your house, or friends and family. Learn, you know, just practice, learn as much as you can before you charge. Speaking of which, make sure that you provide a good service before you charge, because I feel like there are photographers who make photography look bad when they charge and deliver crap, honestly. It kind of makes the whole industry look bad. And I know that working for free versus charging is a whole debate in the photography world. Like, if you do it for free, it means that people who paid photographers are basically missing out on that work. But at the same time, I did a hell of a lot of shoots for free. Like I said, I photographed 30 dogs for free, at least, and I don't know how many humans for free. So I My advice is to shoot for free, even if your fellow photographers will not be happy about it. I think you need to learn before you charge, and I think shooting for free is the best way to do it. I would never charge someone before I knew that I could give them a good service and a good, good value for money. The next thing is to do everything, photograph everything, any opportunity that you get, do everything until you find your niche and find what you want to do and what you actually enjoy and what you're passionate about. Like I said, I did some jobs that I hated, I did some jobs that I loved, and then from there is when I kind of found out what I enjoyed the most. So okay, from all of my human work that I did, which sounds weird saying human work, but all of the human work that I did, I enjoyed mostly the couples and proposals, the engagements and the babies. So then I wanted to focus on that. And it was from making that choice that I then bought the home studio, which then led on to dog photography. So my next piece of advice is to be open to opportunities and fluid, and don't just stick to one idea. If something presents itself, go with it. Why not? See what happens. You might enjoy it more than what you thought you would with your original plan, which is exactly what happened with the dog photography. I had no idea that I would love dog photography this much. I never knew that it was even a thing and that people would pay me to do it. But it really is, and it's a great market, a great niche. People are obsessed with their dogs and they will spend a lot of money on it. My next piece of advice is to learn Lightroom inside out. Yes, you can buy presets. I don't necessarily think that's the best thing to do. I think presets are fine if you're just a mom taking pictures of her kids. Fine, use a preset. But if you are a photographer, I think the best thing you can do is to learn Lightroom, honestly, because my editing has changed so much in the past 4 years, and I've learned so much as well. And I wish I'd spent more time on that when I was learning photography more than the photography itself, because I feel like even though having amazing equipment helps, I think knowing how to edit makes the biggest difference. You can have, you can give the same photograph to 10 different photographers and ask them to edit it, and you'll get 10 completely different looks. So the main thing is to obviously get photos in focus that are well exposed, that are beautiful compositions, beautiful poses, all the rest of it. Yes, that's very important. But I also think it's equally as important to learn your style, learn what you want to do, develop your editing style and your look and your feel, and kind of be known for that, I guess. So with my dog photography, it's very white background, very clean, beautiful, lovely photographs. I don't ever say the photographs where the dog looks stupid or silly or whatever, which I know some photographers love the silly dog look. I personally love the classic, beautiful portraits of dogs. So try and find your niche is my next tip, I guess. And I think the next thing is to push yourself. So at the moment, like I said, last year I spent the whole time doing dog photography, and this year as well. I can't believe it's already August, by the way. What has happened this year? But anyway, December, January time this year, I thought, I miss photographing people. So I'm going to kind of go back into that somewhat, but maybe I kind of decided I didn't want to do maternities, babies, proposals, all that kind of stuff. I thought, I don't even know how I came up with yoga photography, but anyway, I went into yoga photography and kind of personal branding for fitness people. It started with yoga, and then I photographed a fitness coach and another coach, like life coach, I guess. So I guess it's kind of personal branding, business branding for yoga and fitness professionals. So yeah, make sure that you do branch out and push yourself. If there's something you're interested in, just do it. All it takes is a website and an Instagram page and a couple of models that'll work for free, that then you can, start a new business, a new direction. And that has been great for me as well, to be able to get back outside, get back out to explore in Miami, photographing people again, building connections with people, just being more creative, because like I said, with my studio photography, it's just all the same. It's a dog in front of a white background. Whereas when I photograph people outside, I can think about compositions and different angles and different locations and backdrops and lighting and all the rest of it. It's a lot more of a creative process for me, so that's why I enjoy doing that. So if you feel like you have something that is your bread and butter, which I feel like my dog photography now is like that's my income, but then I also have time to do something like yoga photography, or it could have been bloggers, or it could have been weddings, or maternity or babies, or whatever it is. You can always do 2 or 3 different things. You don't have to focus just on one. So that was a lot of talking, but that's where I'm at now. So this year obviously has been slow with COVID, so I stopped working in March and I opened back up in June. So I had a couple of months off to kind of relax, honestly, just chill out, just do other things that I enjoy doing, like blogging, photography. I don't really know what I did during COVID, but anyway, I opened back up in June and I'm kind of back to a good-ish routine again now with my dog photography. It's picking up again, which is nice. I'm hoping by Christmas I'll have a good year again. So the future for me is going to be this year dog photography and yoga photography. Next year, probably the beginning of the year, the same. And then because we're not sure what we're going to be doing next year, maybe carry on with personal branding photography, maybe do some travel photography, maybe do hotels and businesses. I would love to get into that as well, photographing, you know, for example, a restaurant and their new menu and the staff and the location. So more kind of lifestyle-y business photography, if that makes sense. I understand what I mean in my head. I don't know if it's making sense to you guys, but so because we think we might be traveling, I would love to, for example, photograph a hotel or a restaurant or an activity or a tourist attraction, for example, or a new cafe, or, you know, all these different things where I can photograph people, food, locations, architecture all at the same time. I think that would be great. So that's kind of where I think I might head in the future, but for now I'm sticking with my dogs. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was kind of informative as well. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for more videos. I have stopped doing photography videos a little bit recently. I've kind of been doing more lifestyle videos, but I do definitely want to do more photography related videos. So if you are an aspiring photographer and you want to learn more and you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe for more videos that will be coming up very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon. Bye!